You're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. That guy, man. Actually, the final.
Them fucking retarded.
It's you know it's just that that social media activism, the shit we're doing for BLM.
Yeah.
Was that I'll put a black square on your social media page. You don't do that. You don't care about black people.
Alright. We'll praise this to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushai, Hashem, Harakam, Gosh. Double honors into the elder apostles, the great millstone, the well, and shalom to the hopeful elect. Alright, we're Hebrew Israelites who come out every week to prophesy the downfall of this kingdom, headed by America, which is known as Babylon the Great, in the Holy Bible, in the book of Revelation. And to basically gather the elect of the children of Israel, who today are known as the so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, right, also scattered all over the four corners of the earth. So we actually just had a Iraqi Jewish guy come up here saying that he's from the tribe of Ephraim. And you know, we asked him based upon what he said the Bible's not real, the Bible is not the real Bible, and he said he knows it because of his mother. You know, his mother basically is an Ephraimite, which we determine, according to the word, you go through your father's lineage. The most simple way to cut what he's saying, Ephraim pertains to what set of people? Israelites. Right? And the Israelites pertain to what set of people? The Hebrews. Those people, what are they? They're men. And they all descend from a certain lineage. Now, when did it just swap? You know, they got to Ephraim and then now you got determined by your mother. That's the most straightforward way to fight.
I mean, where's the tribe of Dinah? That's really his plan, because we got a daughter of Jacob by name. If it was going through the woman, then we would have the tribe of Dinah. But obviously, these things, it's the modern age. It's actually a whole different religion, form of belief that they now in the modern day Judaism, which is a completely different thing that has nothing to do with the scripture.
It's an ism and schism.
I read Numbers 1:18, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward by their polls.
Right. Establish them by their father's lineage. Okay? And that would be the most simple way to go about it. Why? Because if they take the mother's lineage, it would have been a hogwash of a gathering, basically. But they all descended from certain men. They pertain to certain sets of certain families. Just like in this day and age today, you got a surname. Where does it come from? It comes from a man, all right? And that's a throwback to the ancient world. That's why even when you deal with like certain like Irish names, Scottish last names, Scandinavian last names, they may have Mac, O, or they have son at the end. Why do they have that? Or Van. Why do they have that? Because that means son of, right? Son of who? Of their father. So that's how you determine the lineage of someone. Right? This guy came up and speaking fully, or the was done away with. Then what are you even, like, why would you even claim to be Jewish? Why would you even claim?
He came up to contend on the whole point. But then the final thing was, the Bible's not real anyway. Then after his other point was you know, really what we're talking about is he's Muslim. And I was like, bro, I don't even know what the hell you came up there for. Obviously, I'm guessing originally he was thinking more something to do with them, and then he was just kind of, you got it wrong. Like, bro, but then that's the thing is,
what literature do you follow? How do you know how to live? Like, I'm sure he said he's Jewish. I'm sure he celebrates Hanukkah, celebrates the Sabbath, keeps the Sabbath. I say, he watches for Passover and things. How do you do that if the Bible's gone? Or even what they deal with, the Torah, that's gone. You can't.
Where do you even get the name Ephraim from? Where do you even get the term Jew from? Which then he said, that goes back to Judah. Okay, you know that, but then it's like, what? That was popularized throughout the Roman Empire. But then it's like, bro, was Ephraim even around, at the time?
Or even technically, you can go back to the Persian Empire because you had Esther and Mordecai. Mordecai was a Benjamin, and he was known as a Jew amongst the Medo-Persian Empire. He was regarded highly during the time of Xerxes. He was reigning during that, with that movie, 100, right? So, if you're going to claim to be something, you got to know the history thoroughly. It's even like a lot of people from the British Isles, they don't even know what the word Britain means, which is kind of a funny, kind of ironic irony, because with what's going on right now, you've got the whole movement, Britain first and all this stuff, but they don't know the first thing about St. George, or none of the things that, or the Free Lions, all of these things that they, revere as far as their heritage. But it shows you that the world is under gross darkness and is in a mess. You got more on that, or
others on those? Ecclesiastes 12 and 12. Further, by these my son, be admonished of making many books. There is no end. And yeah, that's, this guy was saying, oh, well, if you deal with the Bible, he said no. He said, oh, well, then you're basically out there just dealing with anything. Because in reality, you have no verification, means of verifying any information. There's nothing to filter it through to get to the core of the matter. In which case, why are you even have to? That means that, you can chat to us one week, then you come back the next week, have a whole different philosophy on life. And a lot of people, that's how they kind of live, that's how they do. That's the modern age. That's just how these things kind of work nowadays. But then all of that is going to be shown for the vanity it is. Because there's what, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. And yeah, and that's the thing, is he's claiming a heritage, being an Ephraimite, but then, he didn't have no beard on his face. He doesn't know what really comes with even being there. And really, it's there, and he said, like, what the Persian, the Israelites of Persia, no, he said the Jews of Persia were Ephraim. I was like, bro, it's like you don't even know how to.
Oh, he said that? I didn't even hear him say that.
No, he said. That's what he said.
I wish I heard him say that.
I was like, bro, you don't even know how to verify.
I would have lost like Santa, man. Oh.
Fucking hell.
I would have had my hands on my side, like I've got a big belly. But guys, you got more.
No, but that's even with that. It's because why he doesn't have the breakdown. You need to be able to deal with prophecy to know the state of where these tribes will be, the state they're going to be in end time. Because that's the thing he doesn't know. He should have, if he knew prophecy, he'll know they have no business being in the land. Them guys in the land can't be people. Because why? Why are people are still making war? Bombs are being made, guns are being made, airplanes are being made, nuking people off the face of the earth. So, if peace ain't on earth, how are these guys, why are these guys in the land? They're meant to be the ones not teaching people to not make war. They're meant to making the Uzi, the Galil, what's another gun? I think the G3, maybe the G3, I'm wrong. But if there's top weapons that are used globally, like the Uzi is a fucking iconic gun. How the hell, why is it Israeli made? That's crazy. They're meant to be making peace. I'm done on that.
Let me read this. Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. It covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, who is it? The earth's given into the hand of the wicked. And that's really the means by why Esau was able to lie and basically present himself as who he so desires. Now, the thing is Esau Edom. That term is no one on the planet Earth was using that term until the prophets got roused up. No one was thinking about no Esau or Edom. That's the thing, it's like, but then it's obviously the scholars, they were up on things. Because Zondervan Bible Dictionary shows these guys knew, but no one was talking the wholesale. When you go to the church, when you go to Christianity, no one's thinking of Edom. No one was cracking up on Obadiah. But what? Now they're basically,
lying captain of their true origins, that's basically been exposed. Now it's been put on blast. Esau, because you go into Obadiah. There's no who else can it apply to? Who else is setting their nest among the stars? It's like the Chinese and India space programs. That shit began in 2022, 23, when the man were like, okay, much later they're trying to get into space. It was Russia and the US that had the key space programs, shooting up satellites, shooting men into orbit, and these things, setting up the International Space Station.
Right. Well, I'll read that. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof, if not wherein who is he?
Yeah, and then covering the faces of the judges. That's the thing. The only reason that everyone, or even blood, because I was didn't get to ask you, would it be a DNA? Because a lot of these guys they'll do the DNA test, then they'll do us. And I remember there was a period of time where it was like hot. It's like everyone was people at work were getting done, saying, "Oh, there's a guy I know said he did a DNA test. He's Benjamin. He's got like 4% Hungarian, 2% Polish, whatever." Like one.
I mean, that's not even worth really.
I know. It was one Turkish girl I was working with where she got like 2% Nigerian, so I just like that. But it's obviously it was just a thing people would do, just as because they'll think it's gonna unravel the truth of who they are. But then it's like the blood. I think it's like the way they check. Like people say, "Oh, my goes back to X, Y, Z," but they're dealing with the people that are in the land right now. Or they might be dealing with, they said, okay, we got some DNA sample from some guy that was in the land. I was like, bro, how do you even know that guy was he could have been a sojourner. He could have been a prisoner. He could have been a warrior. Like, he could have been invading full. You don't know, like, you don't really have the means to verify what someone was. And then as well, we know all these ancient kingdoms, they have people moving around. I say ancient, all throughout history, human history, people have moved around. From when the ark dropped, like people have been moving around. But these are things, because where and who is he? That's a mystery as well. We say the mystery of iniquity has already worked. It's a hidden thing who Esau is. Most people that's why the term like black and white, those things have become synonymous. It's like whenever you're talking about any kind of race relation, you're dealing with black and white, which is just that shit don't even make no sense.
Yeah.
You say, oh, we're talking about Indians, we're talking about Chinese. At least those go back to some kind of like name. And then really with India, Elam, they might go Persia, they might go to different actual groups that existed at the time. But then when you're dealing with black and white, that's just the color. That doesn't really have a root and origin that you can just go and kind of cling to. That really doesn't mean anything. And then all you get is the connotations of the color. When you're dealing with black, you have a lot of negative connotations. And when you're dealing with white, you have a bunch of positive connotations. And that's done intentionally. It was very new, it was a new thing. It was like what 1800s when a lot of these different redefinitions came in.
Now I've got something. Hosea 1:9. Then said the Most High, call his name lower me, for ye are not my people, and I will not be your power.
Yeah.
Yet,
Call your name lower me. For I'll not be your people, you'll not be my people, and I'll not be your power.
you've got to exalt your voice a bit. Just relax.
Throats a bit, sword it. But as far as with that the reason why is what Israel fell short. But then in Israel being sidelined for that time, that doesn't mean someone else sneaks in, and that's really been the MO of various different people. The way they've moved, they've basically been trying to secure some portion of the blessing, whether they're trying to do it through Ishmael with Islam, or whether they're trying to do it through claiming to be the Jews as well, dealing with Judaism.
Let me read on. Hosea, verse 10. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in a place where it was said unto them, Ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, Ye are sons of the living power.
Yeah, that's it. And the key thing is what being said, Ye are not my people. As far as right now, the people in the land have essentially been verified by the whole global system of Esau, to the point where they like post World War II took it upon themselves to give them that portion of land back to them, and then as well, and then everyone, all these different countries, they're still getting legendary levels of foreign aid, to where it's like, damn, that's completely verified. These guys are justified in basically going into the land, you know, taking it by force, and still to this day taking further portions of the land by force because of who they're claiming to be from the scriptures. So these things are very are still impacting into the modern day, and a lot of people, they're not even aware of like, well, the scriptures. They don't know. They just think, oh, Jews, it's just a thing. But they don't know, oh, there's a biblical origin to it, or what's the nature of how you know what they were even promised to get into that land. But then all these things basically be put on blast, because why? The thing is even with being an Israelite, being a Hebrew Israelite, they've been tarnishing it already with what the black Hebrew Israelites, black Israelites, or whatever. Or they'll just kind of be, oh, you know, those guys is kind of crazy. But, you know, no one's going into the scriptures. Well, you have a few wallies, but they'll be attempting to go into the scriptures to try and justify themselves, like vocab and whatnot. A few of these Christians, but then they get schooled. They don't last too long.
Let me read it again. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. Basically, the Israelites, even though they become a no people, they still will exist. All right? And it says, and it shall come to pass at a place where it was said unto them, Ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, Ye are the sons of the living power. So that shows you that, as it stands right now, the actual true Israelites are not known. It's going to be said unto them that you are not the children. You're not the people. So then when you go to the book of Revelation, the 2nd chapter, it speaks about knowing the works and knowing them that call themselves Jews and are not. Alright? So it shows you a distinction. There'll be in the last days certain people basically saying, claiming the heritage of the, of the Israelites of the Bible, but then they'll turn around and say, we're those people, and tell the real people that they are not the people. Right? But in these last days of the end, the Heavenly Father is going to make it known that they are the children. Now, what that means is it's going to have to be a pivotal shift, because the same people that are saying that, they're at the top of the ladder. Right? They're the ones that basically are, saying as far as they have the greatest level of say-so as far as within the context of rulership over the earth. All right, so the Heavenly Father is going to have to do something very, pivotal to change the way people look at us being on the low end of this earth. All right? You want something?
Yeah. Ephesians 6, I'll start from verse 11. It says, put on the whole armor of God, of the Most High, you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness.
Right. Oh, and this even goes to a point we was dealing with Zabak. Because what was Zabak saying? He said that we were threatened. You had members of GMS, which were still waiting for him to come out and say who threatened him. All right, but it goes to the point of him saying that, oh, he got received threats. Like they said they were gonna kill you, we're gonna kill him, All right, the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. All right, this warfare that we're entangled in right now is dealing with a spiritual warfare, and that's why right now we're in the camp. All right, we're in the midst of battle right now, but it's a spiritual battle. All right, that's why him saying that is like the most retarded shit. Because how could you prove what we're doing? That this is what we're on. We want to fight you. We wanna kill you. That's a mad thing ever.
That's the thing. If that happened, and even then, if that happened at the time, that would have gone mainstream. That would have, at the moment, he would have definitely brought out, because that's legendary. Who the hell was going around saying, "Oh, we're going to cause you physical harm and violence," like amongst these different groups? Well, as far as it should be known fully, this is a completely spiritual. That's one of the core things you understood. Even when Yahushua was on the scene, it's like we come in the same stead where when a part of it is expecting physical repercussions and not really having any kind of power or hold, lest the Lord have mercy. But I'll read. I'll finish what I was reading. So it says, "But against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against."
I mean, that's the reason I mentioned it, because our main, alongside with those that don't teach the right doctrine, our main enemy is a man that rules this world, Esau. Right, that's our main target. So if the weapons of warfare are basically how much more then is when we deal with you going to be a rebuke or a reproof, and really a show of love, because we really, first and foremost, a love for the doctrine of his word, and then also for the brotherhood. Because what's the two main laws that the Heavenly Father spoke about? He said about loving the Heavenly Father with thy power, and then loving thy neighbor as thyself. Right? So that's the two main rules. So in respect to doctrine, we've got to teach according to doctrine, according to truth. But in the same way, we've got to teach according to righteousness for the children of Israel. So make sure that you're teaching the right thing. Right? But
what's it say? Spiritualness in high places as well. So there's spiritual strongholds on the left-hand side as well. They're just as fervently as we're opposing them. They're opposing us. One of the kind of angles as well is the whole Catholicism, that universalism, that just blending everyone together. That's the same doctrine you had, back in Babylon, man. When they were building the Tower of Babel. That's the same doctrine you had amongst the Greeks. What was it? And Antiochus, that everyone should be one people. This is an old approach from the left-hand side, where it seems like love to just be like, okay, let's just put everyone and blend them all together as one. But that's not how the Most High gets down. That's why you can't, even in this work, it's a very hard line, it's very clear and specific. Remember what we're dealing with. Like when we're talking about salvation, there's no part in that where the heathen salvation comes in. When we're dealing with the scriptures, we can't just say, actually, a guy can't just come and say, but salvation to the heathen is that. But then it's like, bro, what's the Bible say? And that's the thing, that's really the mark of what marked them that caused division. They're basically being marked, they're causing a separation. And then what is it? Broad is the way that leads to destruction. There's a very small, narrow path we need to be keeping to. So we're making sure everyone's keeping to that. We're trying to make ourselves keep to that to the best of our ability as well. That's why, again, if a guy comes out, you need to keep the law. If you're not able to keep the law, you're not going to the kingdom. The guy and Nate was saying that it's funny as well. Because Nate was coming out hounding on the law. But then lo and behold, what's behind closed doors? All kinds of filth and confusion is going down. The laws that are sins unto death are being done willy-nilly. All kinds of matters. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of the Most High, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. and it's really all what basically a build-up, refining, that purifying process for the evil day, for the day of judgment. Because these are the things that when it comes to a matter of tribulation, most people are not able to deal with any form of hardship. One like basic hardships, what the basic is like food, shelter, yeah, food, shelter. I forgot the other one. Water as well. It's like if you don't get water, I think it's like 3 days or something. Yeah, it's like maybe 24. I can't remember. It's like less than 3 days without water, and then like your body's gonna shut down. Food you can go way longer, like 3 weeks, maybe a month if you have water. And then even sleep as well, shelter. If you don't have shelter, you might fall asleep. You chill, and then you just drop that thing can drop dead. So these are things that a lot of people are not ready to deal with any form of hardship with. And then the alternative is what? Is that mark. Where it's like, if you're Israelite, you take that mark, you're cooked. Like, you're basically done. It's plainly laid out. If you take that, there's no room for salvation for it.
I'll read this quickly to back you up. So, Rock 39 and 26. The principal things for the use of man's life are water, fire, iron, salt, flour, wheat, honey, milk, and blood of the grape, and oil and clothing. All these things are for good to the godly, so to the sinners they are turned into evil.
Yeah, that's why you have it's those things are all essential. And that's the fun. It's like even with like wells, you used to be able to go and just draw from a well. A well is just an underwater passageway for water, where you dig down. It replenishes. You use it within a reason, it will just last. And you used to be able to just go and deal with wells, but then now you have these modern plumbing systems, water systems as well, which that's been used as a point of wickedness. That's been turned into a terror to people. You get that water cut to your house, you're fucked. You don't pay that bill, like it's just done. Even with the electricity as well. It used to be, I don't know if you said it, but it used to be, even if you didn't pay your electric bill, you would still get electricity to your house. But now it's like you don't pay it. If it goes, like if it's the top up one or whatever, you don't pay the bill, you're off. You're in the dark. You're basically in the third world. And a lot of people will have electric heating as well. So if it's winter, then bro, you're cooked. You're done. But these are things, it's essential: food, water, shelter, housing, clothing. These are things that are essential, but then, because they're essential, they're leveraged. And there are a lot of people as well, and the thing is with even the Western world, in the Western world, there's a level of privilege where it's like, what's normal here, people in other countries might be thinking like, yo, that's crazy. So when those things are withdrawn, it's going to be even more destructive. Daniel 12:1, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was, since there was a nation, even to that same time. Yeah, that time of trouble. These are things that really most people are not really meditating on or prepared for. Even with over here in the UK, the digital ID, there was a big pushback against it. But then, in reality, as far as the pushback was immaterial, because why are they even going to stop? Your man said, what is it, digital signature, online signature. What weight does that hold? That don't matter. These guys have basically had schemes and desires in their heart for a long time.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Even with just the general UK politics, was from the 90s, they were talking about like a standard ID card in the UK, which now they've folded into the digital ID. And then where these things are going, we know because of prophecy. Most people are not thinking of, they're not meditating on prophecy. So they don't know the fullness of what's ready to come. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. And we could have asked that Persian Ephraimite, what exactly it means. What thy people. Because as far as it's like when we're dealing with salvation, we go from the Old Testament to the New Testament, it's very plain who it's applying to. You can go to like Luke, these guys always talking about over the New Testament, no John 3:16, no Jew, no Greek. But then go to Luke 1:68 on down, it gives you a nice crystal clarification on who salvation applies to. And these are things that you need to be aware of, because that's the thing. Is the reason why we're doing what we're doing is what we're moved by fear, because we know the time to come, it's not going to play. That's the thing. Is there'll be people that have been in Syria, even Iraq during the war. There's various different regions of the world. Ukraine's a good one. People in some of the stories coming out of Ukraine. It sounded like a fucking hellscape. You hear about those guys, you be like, damn, you don't want to be in the midst of that. And these are things that people think those are just happening in a faraway place. But a lot of those things are going to come to this moment.
You're not getting hung up on the word Israel.
No, I see what it is.
Oh, okay.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Definitely getting hung up.
No.
I was like, she was getting hella. I was like, okay, well, you can ask or you can just be offended. So you should already be thinking, why West Indians? What's that? But that's just, it must needs be the offenses come.
It's the most. It's like kryptonite, like people say.
Yeah. I really find it so weird. It's like selfie cameras have been set standard for, and it's a phone. It's so weird.
Let's go.
You got something?
Yes. Alright, I'll jump straight to the point. This is Revelation 5, actually I'll read into 5:1. And I saw on the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written within on the backside sealed with 7 seals. And I saw a strength angel proclaiming with a loud voice, who is worthy to open the book and to loose the seals thereof? And no man in heaven nor in earth, neither under the earth, was able to open the book, but to look thereon. And I wept much, because no man was found worthy to open and to read the book, neither to look thereon. And one of the elders saith unto me, weep not, behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, hath prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof. And I beheld, and lo, in the midst of the throne, and of the 4 beasts, and in the midst of the elders, stood a lamb as it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of the Most High, sent forth into all the earth. And he came and took the book out of the right hand of him that sat upon the throne. And when he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and the 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and gold vials full of prayers, which are the prayers of the saints. And they sang a new song, saying, thou wouldst take the book and to open the seals thereof. Thou wast slain and hast redeemed us to the Most High by blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation, and hast made us unto our power kings and priests, and we shall reign on earth.
And the key as well, out of all those different nations. Because as far as for the understanding of scriptures, understanding of prophecy, there was even with Daniel, when it was he was given the interpretation, was given the dream and the interpretation, but then the angel broke it down. But then what? He was sick on his bed. Because why? It was was too much.
High level.
And then even And even with the understanding of it, that's something that like is at that time you wouldn't have been able to break down. The different individuals being spoken of throughout those various different prophecies, that's something that them men hadn't even come into power yet. They hadn't even done what they've done yet. And it's the same thing as well with now. It's a lot of these prophecies in Revelation to deal with the end. Those things have now been released because there's one in Daniel 12 a bit further down from what I was reading. Knowledge shall flow to and forth, and knowledge shall increase. Because why? It's now is the time in the end where these things are able to be broken down, and even with the actual devices they're referring to, you know, Revelation 9 talking about planes in World War One, you know, the Joel 2, missiles, ICBMs, multi-stage rockets. Those are things that came about very recently.
Let me read this back up. Wait. Acts 1 and 6. When they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom of Israel? And he said unto them, it is not for you to know the times or the seasons which the Father hath put in his own power, but ye shall receive power after that the Holy Spirit is come upon you. And ye shall be witnesses unto me both in Jerusalem, which is Jerusalem, and in all Judea, and in Samaria, Samaria, and unto the uttermost part of the earth.
Yeah. So being witnesses in the uttermost parts of the earth. And then that was, what was it called? It was Astoreth. It was known as
America.
And that's yeah, the States, Babylon the Great as it's known in the scriptures. And that was something that, you know, hadn't taken place. But, you know, now is the time where that's happened. Even the, Ephraim and Judah being oppressed together, that needed to happen as well in the Americas. So these are things that, you know, until the very end, now a lot of these things haven't come to a fullness. And now is where those things are very relevant as well. Because as far as even with the mark, that's something that you go back to like even the 2000s, there would have been some amount of knowledge of it, but then the fullness of implementation hadn't really come to it. The technology wasn't even fully there.
But now it basically wasn't the time. Yeah, it just wasn't. The time, hey, the time is now, right? Because that's why when you really deal with it, it said about, you know, the book being made open, right? A lamb slain, this is after the Lord basically made his sacrifice. So that allowed the children of Israel to be redeemed unto the Heavenly Father to establish the kingdom. But then when he went back down, what did he tell the apostles? They said, yo, are you going to set up the kingdom right now? He said, no, but you will receive power after many days. You're going to prophesy about the kingdom in this time that you're in presently, but then you're going to prophesy in the uttermost part of the earth, which prophetic was a dark saying, which Paul expounded upon in the book of Thessalonians. Right? He basically said that they had to, Corinthians, I know Paul spoke about it, but he spoke to a falling away first. Right? First you had to fall away and then come back later on, and then that'll be the time where everything will come into fruition. So now we know the books are open. Why? Because hey, it's made to be known to all the people. We're in the last days. We're in the last days of the last days. Right? That's where we're at. You got something?
Yes, I can see why you think that. Sorry, I'll ask a question. Oh, right, yes, so almost 6 months and now extended it 4 months. So this week,
just on was it?
Sorry? Right, no idea. No idea. No.
I'll read this. Matthew 24 and 9.
You can ask a question.
I want to ask a question. So, basically, are you black Israelites?
We're not black Israelites, we're Hebrew Israelites.
Or Hebrew Israelites?
Yeah.
What's the difference between black Israelites and Hebrew Israelites?
We call ourselves one, other people call ourselves
That's it, really. Black Israelites ain't black as well. Like, they're not all black. Like, look at the sign. There's Latinos on there and there's Native Americans. So we're Hebrew Israelites. They call us black Israelites. The Israelites originally, there's no such thing as white Israelites as well. If you really check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you distinguish yourself from what you see like in America? Like,
No, we're from our elders who we learned from.
yeah, because basically sometimes I make documentaries.
Yeah.
Is it possible that I can get your contact details and
No, we won't do. We've done stuff like that in the past in the article, but we're not doing that.
is there a reason why you don't do that?
Because we basically we run our own PR. Basically. There's no reason. Like we have our own PR fully in hand. No need for
And to be honest, we're not here to really document like out what we're doing. We're doing it online right now, and whoever's gonna hear it, gonna hear it. We're not really here to, come out and establish ourselves and build a name. It's whoever hears it, hears it. If you don't want to hear it, it's on you. Yeah, that's what
That's what I was asking about.
yeah. Thinking, who you done documentaries on?
I just do a lot of back stuff. So I made a documentary about police stop and search. This was a few years ago. I made a documentary
Is it
about.
TV or online?
I just do it as a hobby. It's something I
Well, I
enjoy.
mean, do you do it on like YouTube or is it BBC Free or
nice.
Vimeo.
Vimeo? Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I posted. Yeah, just do it as a hobby. But yeah, I just wanted to because I think it's a story I've been interested in. So I wanted
It's just something. We just don't.
Yeah, we're not here really to be like.
It doesn't really align with what we're.
Yeah, we're just here to teach.
Yeah, it's not something I do either, but I just think it's more. My style of documentary is more around the factually, and
I know.
and
It's not even like it very well could be presented well, but it's just the act of making a documentary.
Yeah.
That's like a focus on us, which is away from what we're trying to achieve.
Well, like even now, the amount of people watching our stream is no one. Like no one could stop and listen to us. We've done our job.
Yeah.
The only reason why we're teaching, it tells you in the book of Corinthians that we'll be saved by basically the foolishness of preaching.
Yeah.
So we come out here to make fools of ourselves in hopes of salvation. That's literally it. So that's the first thing. Then we're on top of that, we're out here to, whether you hear us or not, if you don't want to hear it, that's for you. But at the end of the day, we're just getting the blood of fire. We're telling you what's going to happen. And if you read the Bible, this is what always happens. You have the prophets come out, Jeremiah, Isaiah.
Yeah.
They basically talk about this is going to happen. People don't listen. Then Jeremiah got taken into Egypt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not. He didn't suffer the consequences.
Thingy Joseph.
No, Jeremiah. When Babylon plundered the land, he basically was taken. So the point is, I'm saying like we just have a job to do, so that we're covered.
Yeah.
We're not really here about like this isn't like we want to be like we're not doing this like to say. Technically, we are like saying it to like be like look at me and because it says we'll be a spectacle, which that's what we're doing. But we're more so just telling the message,
we have
just
to
to wipe the blood off our hands. We know it, so we got to pass on the message. That's it.
We have a particular process of how we have to do it. We've received the instructions on how to do it from those who we learn from. So we deal with what we've been taught, and that's what we're going to do. So doing documents isn't part of them.
I understand. I think you guys have your beliefs. You're very stick to that. I can respect that. So thank you very much. It's just worth asking.
No, that's all good. Yeah.
So have a good
Alright,
night.
man, take care.
I'm here.
And that's the reality. It's just we have to make fools of ourselves for the love of the heavenly Father. That's literally it. It's nothing else. It ain't like
Funny as well, because it's like even with the documentary was like actually contained one level. It's like it's been nothing but bad PR. Same with Nate as well. Nate did his little arc. I think it was like
we've done an article before. Like,
no
reason for us to do anything. Like,
there's
no way.
just
Why we do
And that's the thing, it's like as far as for salvation, it's like if they're gonna stumble upon it, it's down to the spirit.
Yeah, Yeah, that's literally it. But once we pass it, we're just here to pass on the message. That's it. Whether you hear or forbid, if you don't want to listen to it, and really we're talking about the Israelites, so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and those scattered all over the earth. That's who we're speaking to. So at the end of the day, you know, it is what it is.
Yes, again. Matthew 24:9. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another.
Men. You
And
realise
shall
those are,
hate.
those are slave traders. They're
Right,
reincarnated
we saw
slave
you last
traders.
week, bro.
You do not. They're not God's people. My father Allah despises
Who's
the
God's
poor.
people?
Israel is evil, and the tribes of Israel are evil, and they're still being evil now. They're
that
demonic
according to the
forces of
Quran?
evil.
No, that's
You get away from those and say no. You accept Allah as the one true God, and those false brothers is I'll stay away from the Lord.
It's the same guy. I was like,
He said Israeli, so let him do what he's doing, man. Okay. I just went up and down the road, bugged out.
Well, what's this? Okay, let me read it again. Matthew 24:9. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And yeah, this, now especially is the time of offenses. The thing is, especially, is like when you just deal with what straight up what the laws of the Bible are. Things people have supreme offense to, just with the modern Western sensibilities. Those things are going to seem like, wow, these guys are backwards. These guys are crazy. These guys are saying X, Y, Z. They're saying that people in slavery. They're saying, oh, women are going to be chained to the kitchen. These are things where now in the modern age, those things seem insane, which, hey, is what it is, man. It's part of making ourselves respected. It's part of, making ourselves fools. And it says, and many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And yeah, even that as well. It's like in this age now, the love of people aren't really the whole people coming together. That whole spirit, that shit's done. During they kind to make they ran the PR campaign during the 80s with as long as you come, you work, you can be American or whatever. You want to come here, you want to learn, you want to work in the thing, you can be American. That ran for a minute. But then, the truth of the matter was, they were running, a scheme on the American economy, on the UK economy, where it seemed like everything was going to be flush, but really it was more wealth being gathered to the top 1%. Well, I'll read this as well. John 15:19. If you were of the world will love his own. But because you are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. And that's really a key component of being this truth. And that's why it's these different doctrines, even not using the name Yahweh Shai. It's like if you start talking about, JC, everyone's gonna know who you're referring to, you're talking about. But then the image that's gonna come to mind is gonna be some white music. But that's really an aspect of the world. And that's really part of the world. That's part of the what you read in what's it called? In Job 9:24. That's part of the faces of the judges being covered. But the truth of the matter is dealing with the actual truth is something that's very, very hard for most people, a hard to swallow pill of truth. And most people aren't really looking to play with that, man. Because say, but because you are not of this world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. Remember the word that I sent unto you. the servant is not greater than his master. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. And yeah, that's the same thing. It's like when, you know, Yahushua was on the scene, it was under heavy persecution. The wicked scribes and Pharisees were against him at every turn. You had people getting offended, trying to push Yahushua off the cliff. There was various incidents that happened because why? People got upset. Because he was teaching the scriptures straight and people were getting their feelings hurt. And that's the same thing really in this time. The things that we're saying, most people are fanning their hand, they're thinking, oh, those guys are crazy. Even, things we're not saying. There's people who come by thinking, oh, these guys are with those Israelis. They're thinking, oh, they're with the state of Israel. So they're just like, oh, no, fuck those guys. But then, the confusion of that is they're basically throwing in their lot for someone who's going to have no inheritance in that land anyway. It says, what if they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. But all these things they will do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me. Yeah, that's the truth of the matter, especially when you're dealing with Jacob. They're basically been cut off, man. There's a section of Jacob where their ears need to be filled in and their eyes need to be covered, so that they specifically cannot receive this message. They can't get this truth. For them, that new song, that's something that their ears can't pass it. They're not going to be able to understand what's being played. To them, it's going to sound like it's all out of tune. But that's, the nature of the message.
Yeah, man, we got a message to spread, and it's under the orders of the Heavenly Father. And that's really it, man. Simple as that. If you want to hear it, you can hear it. If you don't want to hear it, you don't hear it. Simple. And it's not even down to if you want to hear it. It's whether you've been permitted to hear it, right? Because it can sound like the day you see us on the street, it can just be like a dream. Like, oh yeah, I saw those people, and then you just go about your life. And then only will the penny drop when, when you actually, someone says, oh, the guys those crazy guys on the signs were right. Like they said in the movie 2012. All right? It's like, oh, but it's by design. That's why you have like people that teach, they teach according to their own will. When you deal with someone like Zabak, we spotlight something right now. Another thing he said was that he's more about brotherhood than doctrine, which is the most maddest thing ever. Because doctrine determines whether you're my brother. All right? All you got to do is go to book Matthew 18. If you have a contention with your brother, why would I have a contention with my brother? It'd be due to doctrine, right? They're going off, they're doing what they're meant to be doing, according to things through the Spirit. That's going to be a great determining factor as far as whether you're my brother. Because now you could be a brother and he could be a full-blown homo, you know what. And then what you gonna do? Are you gonna be around him? He could be an adulterous guy and he even say like, oh brother, you bring your girl around me, she's free game. What are you gonna say? Are you gonna be around him? That's why the word says, can two walk together, at least they be agreed. Birds of a feather flock together. It's as simple as that. Right? And we're doing it in the form of righteousness. You ain't going to be around someone that's not righteous, are you? So if you're going off in doctrine, if you're teaching something you ought not to teach, we're going to draw a hard line and tell you that you're going off. Right? Because the onus falls upon us to show you you're going off. Right? As an act of love. Simple as. Alright?
1 Corinthians 1 and 10. Now I beseech you, brethren, by the name of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, that ye all speak the same thing, and that there be no divisions.
How did he open that? How did Paul open that? He said, I what? What did he say?
I beseech you, brethren.
Brethren. Brothers. Right? So this is him speaking directly to his brothers. Right? Read on.
That you all speak the same thing, and that there be no divisions among you.
Right, no divisions among you. So the only way we can come together and have a brotherhood is that everyone speaks the same thing. Otherwise, what do we have to do? Mark them that cause division. Set them aside. Right? Go ahead. Is there more on that?
That you be perfectly joined together in the same mind and in the same judgment. For it has been declared
Perfectly joined together with the same mind and same doctrine. Alright? Do you mind grabbing Ephesians chapter 4 and 2 or 4 and 4? There's one doctrine, one God.
let's get to the point. Ephesians 4 and 4. There is one body and one spirit, even as you are called in one hope of your calling. One Lord, one faith, one baptism, one power and Father of all, who is above all and through all and in you all.
Right, there you go. So it's called one. There's only one. Right? And that's what we're dealing with. One. So for you to say, you know, we can come together because we're all Israelites, that's off. The only thing we can do as far as because what is it saying, what did Paul say? He said they are not all Israel that are of Israel. So it shows you that there's some, and Jews spoke to the same tune as far as there be some that crept in unawares. Right? See, there's a certain level of diligence that you have to have when you walk in this faith. You need to be aligned with the correct doctrine to determine who is who and what is what. Then you can distinguish, nah, this brother's off. You know, he ain't right. And if you see that there's you have some form of relationship with them, whereas as far as they're going off or things of that matter, then you basically make it known, look bro, that's off. You're not meant to teach like that. You're meant to teach this. But if you're meant to do, right man, but if it's not that, if someone's far afield, like Sabat for example, hey, we come across your stuff, we gotta basically make it be known because it's fell into our lap, alright? But then whether you hear or forbear, that's upon you. But in any opportune moment that presents itself, guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna get on you, alright? It don't mean that we're perfect, but we're definitely perfect through the blood of Yahushua. But the point is, we're doing what we're meant to be doing. Right? It would be a disservice to us and you if we don't say nothing. The Lord, thus saith the Lord. You go into Leviticus 19, it tells you that you're not allowed to suffer sin upon no other brother. Right? It says that you shall not in any wise hate your brother. Right? And how did the Heavenly Father distinguish a hate towards your brother? By basically not putting them in their place. But then we understand in the book of Proverbs, actually says that, you know, a scorner hateth reproof, and a righteous loveth rebuke, something to that effect. So you gotta put everything in line, man. We're saying this due to a reason. Go on. Yes. Go on. Jump where you want to jump. Are you getting hung up on the word Israel?
It's actually like a stumbling block.
I know,
because it's so I can't remember who it was. I remember the woman just came up and she said, so that's the different tribes who they are. Like, you just solved the instantly.
It's
But then it's
spirit
like,
on it. That's it.
because it's like the thing is that I know there's people that see Israel and it's like they're already like they're like that's it.
It's
a
a
wrap.
bloody
It's become
Kill
like
Bill.
yeah.
The guy mad. Nah, you all gone crazy. Why Israel? You didn't read the
Especially
sign.
because it's like it's near where all these protests are going on.
Yeah. You didn't read the sign.
That's a bit, but then that's it. It's blessed if you read it. But there's a lot of things where it's like you don't apply wisdom, you don't read, then it's like you pull up. And then that's why you have even a term what to deal with the devil, where you know it's the small prey that you really got to deal with. and especially in the modern age as well. You have a lot of them contracts. You don't really small
The
print.
devil's in the detail. This going into what you say, the small print. If you're gonna make a deal with the devil, you have to know where do you go. You go into the devil that's in the detail. Right? In the detail is where you're gonna find the reception. And then you can catch him out red-handed. Say, aha, I found you. That's where you will hide it. God.
Matthew 11:16. But whereunto shall I liken this generation? Is it not like unto children sitting in the market and calling unto their fellows and saying, we have piped unto you, and ye have not danced. We have mourned unto you, and ye have not lamented. That's really the difference. It's as far as we hear it with these other groups. It's like the whole unity approach or whatever. What was it? Brotherhood before, brotherhood before doctrine. That whole approach, like you're not dancing, man, or you're dancing to a completely off tune. That's really the reality of how this thing is.
Hey, if you're not right, we're in battle. We're in trench warfare, spiritual warfare. We've read it before. I don't want no one beside me that's watching my back, or I'm watching their back, and they have an ulterior motive. They're dancing to a whole different tune, right? Their rhythm is off. Because now, if they see certain things, they ain't gonna give you, watch out for that. And what's the watch out for that? As far as the MOTV, all right? Different things of that manner. If you're not speaking to that, then I'm gonna get caught out there. Right?
The MOTV as well comes hand in hand with Jacob's trouble. People might think, okay, well, I don't really believe what them GMS guys are saying, but I'm not going to say something they put out. But they don't realize that's going to come hand in hand. It's going to be hardship. It's going to be tribulation. Life's going to get. You ain't going to be eating. You ain't going to be drinking. Your wife's going to be screaming at you. Like your kids are going to, your kids are going to be. Everyone's going to be like, yo, everything's going to be pushing you to it. Whatever job, career, or lifestyle you have, that's going to be impacted by you not taking it. That's going to cease to exist. But they're just thinking, no, it's a light thing. But then that's why it's what? It's a warning. That's why, brother liking it's watching someone's back. But that's the thing, it's like you have those, what was it, Saving Private Ryan, where the guy took his helmet off, and he just got whipped.
And he didn't take, what's the helmet? The helmet of what? Truth? I believe it is the helmet of truth. Alright? If you take off that helmet, you're exposed. And following, saying brothers over doctrine is likened unto taking off that helmet. Say, the truth. Let me take away the truth. Because even when you deal with the truth, because I was going to do a video on that, actually, I didn't get a chance to do it. But basically the truth, the word truth goes back, when you deal with the Hebrew, the word for truth is a muff. Right? That's where you get the word maths from in the English dictionary. Now when you deal with maths is, we deal with the foundations of maths. 1 + 1 = 2. 2 times 2 equals 4. 20 divided by 4 is 5. What's another one? Minus 5. 10 minus 5 is 5. These are the tenets of mathematics, the foundation. Like the multiplication timetable, your times table. You got a 1 times table, 2 times table. Before you can engage on a deeper level of truth, you need to understand those basic fundamental things. Alright? Now it's the same thing. If you don't know that and you want to start building buildings, you can't do it because you got to be well versed with civil engineering, which is about mathematics and things of that nature. Alright? Because if you don't have that on Smash, you go there and you try and say, I'm going to build up a building. That's what I'm going to do. If your maths ain't right, the building's barely going to get anywhere before it falls down, or it may stand for a certain amount of time and then it's going to collapse on itself. Alright, that's the same thing with the truth. We're building the house of the Heavenly Father. You got to build it in truth. It told you that in the book of Corinthians. Whatever you add, whatever sacrifice you place on this fire, the fire is going to make proof of it. So if you put stubble, you put hay, you put wood, it's gonna just fuel the fire. But if you put, you know, precious stones, gold, silver, it's gonna be purged through the fire, and it will remain. It will be basically the end of
the pure element.
the pure element will come to exist during at the end of it all. So it's the same thing with this truth. What we're doing is saying that it's only about the truth. You can't teach nothing else apart from the truth. Right? Any breaches, what's going to happen? They're going to be closed. But you're looking like a breach. Mate, you're looking like a breach. So what was the Heavenly Father going to do with the breaches? He's going to move them out of the way. They're going to be done away with. Just like how Nehemiah, all right, we built with our building tools and we had a sword in our hand as well. That was just all the heathens are trying to fuck with us. Nehemiah or Ezra, I can't remember it verbatim.
Ezra and sword book.
Yeah. But basically that's the point. When we're building, but at the same time, when you're coming up and you're trying to breach the building, we're taking out a spiritual sword and we're slicing you, putting you in place in the hopes that it's unto righteousness, but either way, it is what it is, man.
1 Samuel 15 and 22, and Samuel said, after Most High, the Lord Yahweh, as great delight in the burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord Yahweh. Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. And that's really the core of what saying brothers before doctrine is. It's being willful, it's being rebellious. Because as far as we know, it's the hard line is you know what's said in the book. That includes brotherhood, but then there's a qualifier to it. To enter into brotherhood is a state where you need to be qualified for it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, then why does Esau apply for that? Then it's if your brother, well, Esau came out the same womb, bro. Walk on.
There you go. Like, and that's why you say the Buck reads that you know in his way he agreed in saying that you know they ain't gonna be obedient to the kingdom, they're gonna be our slaves, right? But then if that's the case, how are you gonna determine whether they're a brother? Sorry, how are you gonna determine someone's a brother? It's gonna be done by what the word. You're gonna ask him what tribe are you? Right? You're Israelite. That's all in the word. You're using the word to measure the things that are being said. So why can't you measure it as far as doctrine? Someone saying that you can't, like, if we saw anyone that's, you know, IUIC or whatever, we ain't gonna say fuck you, you know, or whatever. Salute you. We probably may say like, you know, if we were to have a conversation, just tell you like, because I had one guy down here that I was cool with. I used to play ball with actually, and then he joined the IUIC, and then he was telling me about it years, a little while after, and he said, yeah, I was telling you know mutuals that we have, and I said, bro, I said like, I told them all years ago. He said, so why didn't they enough? I said, bro, because it's not for them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then I mentioned to him, I said, yo, them lot don't believe in the MOTB, this, that, and the other. And he's like, that shouldn't really be I believe that's what he said during that time. It was a couple of years, it's 10 years plus now. But I believe what he was saying was like, that shouldn't be like a problem or whatever. But it is, right? Because I'm saying, you know, I'm saying go right, you're saying go left. So we can't.
It's not even like it's just, the two things can't even be resolved together. We're saying two completely separate things. And that's really the truth of the matter. It says what? Verse 23, for rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. And that's the core of the matter. Because what is it? Isaiah 47. Witchcraft is a heavy power within the system. That's the thing, is a lot of these doctrines, narrative things that you would have as lessons for like children lessons in kids TV shows and blah blah. These things, these are forms of witchcraft. Otherwise, it's a channel of belief within Esau's system. It's a foundation of the wicked root of his system. Because the thing is, and then you go to the top highest levels of the system, what goes on? High level witchcraft. They're dealing with religious observations on the left-hand side. They're keeping high holy days to supreme, legendary ancient deities. That's what these men are getting down with. They're all getting together to make sure that Baphomet and Tammuz and all them men are kept, they're in good stead. That's really the origin, the root of everything they do. Esau's he's basically what? The chief priest of the left-hand side, man. He's basically been, Satan's chosen. That's his role. So then you're basically taking on those aspects. And the thing is, they're worldly aspects, but a lot of this shit is brand new. Where during the ancient one, it's like no one's really trying to fuck with that. Very few people are fucking with these things. Because they even say it's like having women in power. Like they said there was like people always say like, there was different civilizations that survived with women in power. I'm like, bro, it's like no one on a significant scale had women in charge. Because all that would happen is the war would happen, and then your leadership is what would happen in the ancient world is the men would have been killed and the women would have been kidnapped. And that was happening for thousands of years. It says what? And stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. And that's really stubbornness. Because the thing with it as well is it's like, bro, the doctrine's off. Like why? Like how can two together except they be agreed? You can't just be getting together, throwing the steak on the barbecue. The music's playing, the chicken's roasting, whatever. Everyone's smiling and joking together. Then someone's gonna mention, I can't wait. These people are gonna be completely lost when the Mark of the Beast comes out. Then all the music stops. Someone says Breckle scratch. Then it's like that. Then it comes Mars Hill. Like how you even like what understandings are gonna come out of that?
Basically, in order for that to maintain the peace, you gotta basically, it's like you're being on a plantation.
Those doctrines.
Yeah. You can't speak freely. You can't speak openly.
He says what? Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord Yahweh, he hath also rejected thee from being king. Yeah, that's a big point. Because even with now, that's why you said it. You're saying like, it's not for them. Where it's like people go, why do you tell them money? It's like, bro, it's like more, especially most people when they come in the word, the first thing they do is tell everyone. Yeah. And then lo and behold, almost no brother. It's funny as well because what in this camp is I got two sets of brothers, just the two of them, and like you would fit. It's like it's not like all these other brothers in camp don't have brothers that they're telling them like uncles, whatever, relatives that when you first come in and you got that supreme fire, you're just telling everyone. There's very few people kind of, will actually be able to come into it. Because why? It's a small sanctuary.
Little sanctuary, as it says.
Mm-hmm. It's a very narrow and small assembly of people that are really gonna be allowed entry into it.
And the Heavenly Father said he'd take one from a family, or two from a family, and one from a city. So he ain't taking too many. He's only taking a choice men. That's it. And even it's funny because even in our camp it's like about how many of us? Four of us are all from the same town. Like we grew up more or less together,
Fucking up the road to each other.
Yeah, we knew each other to some degree, but it is what it is. But that's not like a thing like it's prevalent, This is what it is.
That's a rarity. But that's
well, I don't know because we can't speak to other camps. You know what I mean?
But as far as with the way it's not something that's a broad open door to everyone. And that's the thing is that even when you deal with pretty much every modern religion, it's basically open door policy. Anyone can come in, Like you'll have those street preachers where it's like anyone walking by, they're offering a pamphlet. They'll offer you the little red. I don't even know if they still do those. The New Testament and Psalms, Bibles, and whatnot. You know, they'll kind of be out there pushing, you know, to get any and everyone to join in. Because why? That's really what they're dealing with. But that's the thing is the hard line really is the prophecy. Because like what is it? The testimony of Yahweh is the spirit of prophecy, and the interpretation of prophecy. That's really going to be where we're going to see it exposed. Oh, do these guys know what they're talking about? Do they want to get down? Because that's the thing is we're basically seeing the formation of the full implementation of the mark. Over here in the UK, we have what? The digital ID being instated, where you're going to have the ability for you to open a bank account, the ability for you to rent a place, the ability for you to work is going to be it's going to be required for you to have that digital ID. If you don't have it, that's going to be a point, well, basically going to make it impossible to do a lot of these things, unless you're doing it under the table. And then that means a lot of the under the table stuff, they're then going to start sweeping it out. And that's another part of the system as well. A lot of those little cracks, those little holes, they all get closed up. Then you have to basically come through their system, my way or the highway. You also but that's really, you know, the prophecies where it's all
เราก็จะพูดให้มัน
really, you know, people are being found to be liars. Because what was Nate was saying, oh, the mark, you know, chipping is just said, oh, just where's my dog? It's June. You know, those, but then lo and behold, what do you see? It's like, I remember it was, even Neuralink was a big thing, but now you have various like 10, 11, 12 different companies where they're completely built on, you know, jamming technology into people's heads through various means. Then you have, you know, the economic side as well.
Even with Palantir as well.
Oh yeah. Palantir, because I think they've been around for a minute as well. And they've been around for ages, like decade plus. But I can't. I looked into it. I can't remember off the top of my head. But they're basically, it's really, they've been built up through Trump's administration. And that's a lot of these different tech companies now. They've basically had the reins taken off, which, you know, you saw at the inauguration of Trump, all the tech CEOs were there. They were there with him. You know, Elon as kind of like the crown prince.
First John 4:1, beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of the Most High, because many false prophets are gone out into the world.
Close up, bro. Yeah, man, it's good.
Yeah. So you gotta try them by the spirit. There's many, you know. There's false prophets that have gone into the world. So you have to be mindful. And the word is basically the measuring stick. That's how you're gonna determine whether someone's in a faith or whether they're in a lie. Right? And that's why you need to be aware of yourself as well. You know, at least you be reprobate of like where you stand in the faith. You have to stay in the breakdown. You have to stay on point with the news. You have to be around the Akim, the brotherhood. Right? You know, like-minded people that are gonna try you through the spirit. Make sure you're on point. Right? Because this is a thing that's all determined by, it's a battle of attrition. Anything Satan can chip away at you in ways you might, your diet, you know, you might consume too much like soy and things of that nature. And it has a high level of estrogen. It sounds so funny. But it has a high level of estrogen, right?
Just soy bread.
Yeah.
Like the fucking cookies.
You know, that isn't because, hey, be not ignorant of any matter, small or great. Your diet goes a long way, all right? It can compromise your
Well, the gut, this microbiome is linked to your brain as well. Yeah.
So there's a lot of ways you can be
your mood
compromised.
can be
Yeah?
impacted on those.
So you do things that are not, you know, out of character, but it's down to the lifestyle you've been living, the things you've been doing. This is why you got to be on point, all right? But then that's how you got to measure everything by way of the word. The only way you're going to understand whether you're on point or not is referring back to the book of life and being comforted by it. And most of the time, for you to be comforted in His word, you have to go through that furnace of affliction. You have to, you know, one thing I used to get from playing ball back in the day, saying that I was stuck with it, you get comfortable being uncomfortable. In order for you to be able to run a trillion suicides or run, you know, fast breaks back to back or, you know, jump.
Yeah, suicides were aptly named.
Like, yeah, they were. Like 17s where you have like short sprints and what. The amount of times I could smell the blood in my lungs. Oh my days, that shit's crazy. Like that's the intensity of how, you know, the training. And it's fit. When I heard that get comfortable being uncomfortable, that's the same sentiment with this truth. Obviously you're gonna get comfortable, but the comfort is found in the discomfort that you went through. This is why it says the word was sweet in thy mouth, but basically, you know, bitter in the belly. There's a bitterness they have to go through, but ultimately lead to a great level of comfort, great sweetness. And then really, we enjoy doing this, man. I get scared of the idea of not being able to do this. That's where great sense of like fear comes in. It's from you can't do it, right? And hopefully, Lord willing, in saying that, it's not being done in vain. It's being done unto salvation. All right. So yeah, that's it. We're out, man. You got anything to say?
No. You can
Would have kicked off earlier, but here's where it is. Spirit.
you
Yeah.
later.
Yes. There you go. All right, man. Till sweet Lord willing. Shalom.